What's going on, YouTube? We're back at it for another video, and today we've got to address that elephant in the room, which is we did take Penta. We do have that new support weapon stratagem, and well, if you've used it already, you'll know that it is straight up hot garbage. That thing is not doing a whole lot for you. It's more than likely being the #1 team killer slash self-exploder. This thing seems to have a proximity to anything in the game, and it decides that that's the time to blow. I mean, it could be even a leaf, a tree, any one of those mines. The spore mushrooms on the ground, my god. Teammates in front of you or near that rocket as soon as you fired it, my god, there it goes again. It's blowing up everybody. Right now, it just seems to have quite a few drawbacks and very little benefit. Every time that I've used this in perfect scenarios, it just seems to end up not dealing either enough damage, or the RNG with where the cluster of explosions go basically do not favor me whatsoever. I've even had moments where I've shot directly at a group of the weakest enemies in the game, and then next thing you know, somehow, with a perfectly landed shot, every single one of those cluster bombs danced around every single one of them, and none of them even took any bit of damage, if not dying. I was, well, very disappointed. It pretty much almost put this thing very closely to one of the worst stratagems in the game, but that still goes to the ballistic shield, as that stratagem just feels like a roleplay cosmetic to me. It's for a bit of fun, and it can block some lasers, and has been buffed with the recent patch, but 9 times out of 10, you're going to be putting so much effort in just to get the little benefit out of it that it almost feels like a wasted slot for a stratagem, sadly enough. But that's my personal opinion on it. You know, you can go down to the comments below and disagree with me, but more than likely it just won't sway my opinion on this stratagem. But good news, everyone. We do have a patch coming out this week that you may have noticed pretty much every other Helldivers 2 content creator talking about. And the one good thing about this patch is that it does supposedly state from some of the community managers over in their Discord that we will be getting a buff for the Airburst rocket launcher and the anti-tank mine, as the versions of these stratagems in the game right now are the lesser, weaker, earlier versions of these. And that is definitely the case when it comes to the Airburst rocket launcher. We don't know about the anti-tank just yet. We haven't stepped foot on Coochie, or the planet Coochie, I should say. And hopefully we will be able to test it out before Tuesday, but at the same time, I truly hope that we are getting access to both of these stratagems by Tuesday. Hopefully that'll be the case, but we'll see as time goes forward. Now, there's also some bad news, I suppose. This could be bad news. I could be wrong about this. Hopefully I'm not 100% right about this, but I think this is going to happen on Tuesday, or at least with the patch that's coming this week. Now, if we head over to Twitter, now I'll showcase a photo in front of you from one of the posts on Twitter. Originally, last Tuesday, when I thought the original patch was going to come out, I noticed this post about the grenade pistol. Now, it was a joke about the fact that the guy who came up with the grenade pistol basically was being promoted and then euthanized for disobeying orders. Good bit of humor there. But if you look at the details to the photo of the grenade pistol, you'll notice that it showcases the stats. Now, all of the stats are correct, minus the damage. You'll notice that it says 250, whereas in-game right now, it's 600. Now, originally, I immediately just thought to myself, wow, they're going to nerf that in the coming future. I knew this was something that, or in my mind, I immediately just had that gut feeling that this was a incoming nerf in the coming future towards the grenade pistol. But at the same time, I thought to myself, you know what, this could be a clerical error. This doesn't have to mean that this is 100% without a doubt something that is a current build that they have that's not actually implemented live into the game for all of us right now. So I kind of just tossed it off to the side, you know, let that thing kind of sit there for a week. I didn't see anybody else talk about it. And then come yesterday, once we actually got access to the new stratagem, they posted another one of these posts with the eruptor. And it turns out they did the same thing yet again, where we've got all the stats correct minus the damage, whereas now it states it at 230 instead of the 380 we have in game right now. Now, this isn't 100% that I can tell you that guaranteed both of these weapons are going to get nerfed, but we do know there's a patch coming. We do know with some of these major patches we've seen nerfs come in, we've seen buffs come in. This may be something that, you know, it's a bit of a stretch. I'll say that. I can't confirm this, But when you go back and you look at previous posts like they've done with other weapons like this, there's not clerical errors. And it's very rare that you're going to see two of these weapons come up showcased within a week apart, and both of them somehow are going to have differing damage types, without it possibly being what their current build is compared to what we have in game right now. Now, what's crazy to me is the grenade pistol doesn't seem like something I would actually see needing a nerf, considering it has such low ammo to it. The eruptor, what is that? Do you hear that? It sounds like sobbing. Yep, somebody's about to start crying. You could take that down to the comments below. But quite seriously, when it comes to the eruptor, it is something that I believe was pretty much guaranteed to get nerfed. When it comes down to it, the shrapnel from the eruptor was absolutely ridiculous power. If you could actually harness those shots to guarantee all the shrapnel to go into certain weak spots, it was almost like an absolute overkill amount of damage. It was one-shotting chargers at certain moments, and it was being able to two-shot any one of the heavily armored tanks, which is crazy. You don't see any other weapon being able to get that done. You don't even see a rocket launcher being able to one-shot a heavily armored tank, even though supposedly the spear is supposed to be able to get it done. It never does. Now, the reason that I say this is the simple fact that it is highly possible that the shrapnel itself was also doing the direct damage total. So each one of these pieces of shrapnel could have been doing 380 themselves along with the initial shot. That's why I believe they've actually cut down the total damage to 230, and more than likely this may be a nerf, but it's not going to be as big a nerf as you might think it might be. Although it is a substantial amount of damage. But we'll see in the coming future whether or not this is something that's truly going to destroy this weapon. But at that same point, it's slight good news, as every time we've seen one weapon get, nerfed, there's been about 3 other weapons, if not more, that ended up getting buffed and raised up to the ceiling. I would highly like to see some of these marksman rifles come in line, maybe even the Liberator Penetrator get a little bit of a buff. A lot of these things with just a small tweak to the damage or rate of fire might actually end up pushing them more in line with something that creates a higher viability for these weapons in a bit of a rotation between each one of the fights that you may, or each one of the fronts we may be fighting on. Now again, I can't confirm any of this is going to happen on Tuesday. This is based on my speculation and some of the information that's provided from some of these Twitter posts, along with the understanding that we do have a patch coming this week that is going to be supposedly substantially large or make quite a few changes to certain things. We have seen patches in the past actually be a lot less, there's generally like some patches that have just been like one thing, which is why I was a little bit confused. Last Tuesday we didn't get a patch, because even if it just addressed one thing, it would mean progress. But the fact that there wasn't a patch last Tuesday makes me believe that they've got a much larger amount of fixes coming in, if not a bit of a balancing patch coming that should change things up, make it a bit more interesting. I wouldn't fear this too much, even if, the Eruptor is your favorite weapon. Don't worry. Every single time this happens, so far, they have truly kind of shaken the things up and given us a lot more options to actually choose from. That's one of the things I'm thankful for with each one of these patches, even though we've seen some nerfs and we've seen some that have truly put some of these, especially some of the support weapons, into the very shadows of the game, so to say. The rest of these have really come out of the shadows and truly been something that has been more fun and more pleasant to play along with. It's given me more to do as we go from patch to patch, and it's just giving the game a little bit more life every time that we have more of these options become available. So that way, in the longevity of playing through each one of these major orders, we have things to kind of bounce around with and keep things a little bit fresh. And that's ultimately what I'd like to see going forward. But let me know what you think down in the comments below. Do you think these nerfs are coming with a future patch? What buffs might be coming with it? Or what stratagem/weapons do you think should be getting a buff in the future? And let me know down in the comments below if you'd like to see more, news content for Helldivers 2 like this in the coming future, whether or not this was something you enjoyed and you'd like to see more of. But at that same time, if you enjoyed the content, hit that subscribe button. We've got plenty more coming in the future. And if you'd like to see this content live, especially when it comes to the update coming up this Tuesday, we'll be there bright and early. Hit that link down in the description below. Follow me over at Twitch. We'll be streaming daily, and we'll have all the content ready to showcase any one of the changes that may be coming with this future patch. But on that note, have a good one.